something if you like, a walk or anything else. But then just allowing yourself to settle a little bit, arriving in this moment. Maybe if it feels comfortable, allowing the eyes to close. If that doesn't feel comfortable for any reason, that's just fine. You can keep them open, maybe just soften your gaze. And just taking a moment to take a few deeper breaths, starting to mark the transition from all that's happened in the day to now, and between now and what might happen after practice. Seeing if for this hour together, we can anchor ourselves right here. Starting now to bring your awareness into the physical body, connecting into the sensation of the support below you, anything behind you, the feel of the air on your skin, noticing the boundary between where you end and the air begins. Starting to feel the spine stacking tall over the pelvis, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, a gentle tuck of the chin towards the chest, a little reach out to the crown of the head. So the whole back part of the body is awake and alert, but without strain. Starting now to take a little inventory of the physical body, moving with a kind eye, but starting to sense, are there areas in the body that already feel open and spacious? Are there areas that feel maybe a little less so? Maybe there are areas holding tension that you don't need, perhaps between the eyebrows, around the cheeks and the jaw, the neck and the shoulders, maybe the belly, maybe even the hands and the feet. Just seeing if you can send a couple rounds of breath into those places that need it the most. And starting to bring your awareness to your emotional body, your mood this evening. And moving gently with yourself through this part of the checking in, knowing that there's an awful lot happening out in the world. So that may be bringing up all kinds of things for you. But just knowing that all that is coming up is okay. And there's no such thing as good or bad emotions. There just is what there is. So just noticing what is there for you today. Next, moving your attention to the activity of your mind, the pattern and the rhythm of your thoughts. Maybe the mind still feels quite busy from the day, bouncing from thing to thing. Maybe you've had a little space before practice and it feels a bit more languid, slow, or maybe something in between. And seeing if you can track the thoughts as they enter, Acknowledge them and then allow them to drift on their way. Now turning your attention to your breath, noticing the rhythm, the depth, the cadence, maybe the temperature, noticing the quality of the breath. And does it feel smooth or choppy, round or hollow, fast or slow? Noticing the parts of the body that you're using to create the in breath and the parts you're using to create the out breath. Seeing if you can feel the breath expand the torso in all four directions. Forward through the chest and the belly, out to the sides, to the rib cage, and around to the lower spine, lower ribs. Every inhale gently inflating, every exhale gently releasing. We prepare to sit a little more deeply this evening. We'll offer a seed for our practice of building blocks towards our goals. When we think about any type of goal we have, there's something on the mat, very tangible. There's something maybe a bit more elusive off the mat, broader social justice context, perhaps. Anything that we're working towards. We have to take it step by step. And it's okay if it's not fast. It's okay if we make a mistake along the way. So every step we take, there's learning that happens. So for these last few moments together, I invite you to picture a structure in your mind. It could be real or imagined, small or large, but really form it in your mind. And then imagine that you can see through the outside to all the little blocks that help to create it along the way. Focusing on each individual block on the inhale, zooming out to the full picture on the exhale. We'll continue this breath pattern with that image in mind for a few quiet moments here. And then I'll call you back. And if the mind has started to wander away a little bit, that's okay. Just bring your attention back to your breath. Inhaling to focus on the small pieces of your structure. exhaling to swim out to see the whole for just a few more rounds of breath here. And as we gently prepare to come back and transition into the movement portion of the practice, we can hold this concept of those building blocks with us as we move on the mat and as a template for our movements off the mat. Now, if the eyes were closed, you can gently blink them open or just sharpen your gaze if they were already open. And as we begin to wake up the body here, invitation to keep the legs as they are or to move your feet apart a bit, your knees apart and your feet together. So you're in this loose butterfly shape with the legs. Again, if that's uncomfortable, you can keep them in the easy shape you had before. Either way is okay. But then we'll start to move a bit at the shoulders, making some gentle rolls up and back. Moving at your own pace, your own depth here, keeping the breath smooth and steady. And as you feel ready, taking the elbows into those circles, leading now with the tips of the elbows as you send your arms out and around. Again, still keeping the breath smooth and steady. And then as that feels pretty good and open, then extending to the full arm, making big, wide circles, sweeping the space with your fingertips. Maybe one or two more full rounds using your own breath to guide you. And then the next time that the hands are overhead, you can allow them to stay there, taking a couple of breaths with the arms in this big, wide open V shape, just accepting, landing here. And then gently knitting the fingers together at the front of the chest. And then we'll make some little figure eights with the knuckles. We're starting to warm up through the wrists here. If you've been typing today, there might be some sound effects, or maybe even if you haven't been, that's okay. And then as you feel ready, try and scramble your brain and go the other way, the way that feels less familiar. Great. And then gently shaking out the wrists. And then wherever you have your legs, you'll take your hands and hook on the front of the shins here. And we use our hands to help us move the spine. So on the inhale, you'll pull back with your arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together, arch the spine, maybe look up a little. And then exhale to reverse, starting from the belly, draw in from the roots, starting to round the spine a little bit here. Let's take that twice more. Inhale, using your hands to help you pull the body forward, arch the spine, maybe look up a little. Exhale, push the air out as you round through the spine, sucking in the belly. Last time, inhaling forward like you're riding the wave of your breath into the arch. And then activate the belly as you start to curl back on the exhale. And then on the next inhale, just landing in your neutral position. If the legs are in this butterfly shape, you can use your hands to help press the knees together. And then if you're sitting on something, you can go ahead and move it to the side, and we'll gently make our way towards hands and knees on the mat. If you know that the floor sometimes feels far away, you might want to have some blocks or something handy, but you don't necessarily need them. But as you arrive on your hands and knees, we'll take these first 5 to 8 breaths to do whatever is calling. Maybe it's some additional spine waving, maybe rocking the hips from side to side, Maybe making some circles with the lower half, maybe bending the elbows, getting into the shoulder blades. You could play with the hands or the feet. Whatever feels like it would knock out the last of the cobwebs before we fully move for you is great. And as you're exploring here, I'll remind you that I am just the suggestion box up here. So if I ever offer something that doesn't feel great for your body, feel free to take anything else that would feel better. And as we start to find our way towards stillness here, maybe taking 1 or 2 last breaths in your play. And then starting to settle in here to this shape, checking to see that the hands are just slightly ahead of the shoulders, but that the knees are right underneath the hips here. And then from here, on your inhale, you'll extend your left leg long behind you. So starting to come into this 3-point shape here, pulling in the belly, extending the leg long behind you, really reaching through the toes. And then on the exhale, you can move a little or a lot. We're going to start to pull that left knee towards the side, coming somewhere towards your left upper arm or elbow. It does not have to touch. It can stay way out here. Wherever is comfortable for you is great. And then on the inhale, we'll reach it back long, resetting here. And then we'll do that twice more. Inhale to reach the leg long. Exhale to move that left knee somewhere towards your left arm. And then inhale, left leg long behind you. Reset through the belly, spine neutral. And then last time on the exhale, scooping that left knee somewhere towards your left arm, and then hold here wherever you are for 1 full breath, waking up the hip and the abdomen. And then inhale that leg long behind you. This time on the exhale, allowing the left knee to find the earth once again. Scooping in the belly. And then on the inhale, extending through the right leg. Arriving for a moment on this side, really stretching out through the back of that right knee, pressing the hand into the mat to separate the shoulder blades a little. 1 more big inhale here. And then on the exhale, this time the right knee is coming somewhere near that right arm. Again, many spots along the way. You could rest in any of them. And then inhaling that right leg long behind you. Exhaling to swim that right knee somewhere up near your right arm. Nice, y'all. And then inhale that leg long behind you. Last time. Exhale to squeeze that right knee towards the arm somewhere up there and hold wherever you are. 1 full breath. And then gently inhale. Last time, leg goes long behind you. And this time on the exhale, the right knee finds the earth next to your left. Then on the inhale, extending the left leg behind you 1 more time. This time on the exhale, you'll step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. So the left foot can be pretty wide here, almost towards the wide edge of the mat, but the toes will face forward. Then you'll inhale to come up on your tented fingers, and then start to gently rock forward and back over that left ankle. As far as you feel comfortable going, keeping the breath smooth and steady. Yes, y'all, this is good. Just warming up through that left ankle joint here. Taking it in your own rhythm. 1 or 2 more full rounds of breath. And then settling back into a more neutral position here. Planting the hands back on the earth. Or if you feel like you need a little bit more height or space below you, you can always come up a little bit higher on blocks as you need. That's fine. But from here, we'll start to look forward. On the inhale, lift that right knee off of the mat, coming into a version of your runner's lunge here. Breathing steady this first round, opening up to the back of that right leg. 1 more big breath. And then exhale the right knee down to the mat. Get strong in the legs so that on the inhale, you can float both arms up to the sky, coming into your low lunge. Yes, great, y'all. We're gonna flow between those two shapes for a few rounds. So we'll inhale to reach the arms. Exhale to plant the hands on the inside of that left foot. Look forward. Inhale the right knee off the earth. Hold for a breath here. Then exhale to drop the right knee to the earth and inhale to swim back up to your low lunge. Yes, you got it. One last time here. Inhale to reach. Exhale to drop the hands to the mat. Look forward. Inhale to lift that right knee off the earth. And this time we'll stay right here. You could stay working this shape, firmly pressing the hands into the mat, getting really connected through those right toes. Or an option, if you like, really press down through the hands, pull in the belly, and then on your inhale, maybe lift that left foot off the earth. Just hovering for just a moment, just a breath. And then exhale that left knee back down right where it was. And then everyone lower the right knee to the earth. And then on the inhale, sweep that left leg back behind you, coming back into your hover for breath. Yes. Then connect the left toes to the mat so that knee is staying off the earth. Left leg is straight, but the toes are connected. Again, option to stay right here. Grip the mat with your fingers, press in with your hands, or press even more. And then on the inhale, suck that right knee up towards you. So your right knee is hovering, maybe. One breath here. And then gently lower the right knee to the earth and lower the left knee to the earth as well. And we'll move on to the second side. So we'll inhale to take the right leg back behind you, just a breath. And then exhale to step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Again, that foot's gonna be pretty wide, but the toes will face forward. Then you'll inhale up to the tented fingers and then start to rock back and forth over your right ankle. And maybe you find something different on this side, and that's okay. Just breathing smooth and steady as you go, warming up through that joint. Really nice, y'all. One or two more rounds here. And starting to come back to that neutral position. And then we'll firmly plant the hands either on the mat or your blocks, your option. And then on the inhale, looking forward, and then lifting that left knee off the earth, coming into that lizard runner's lunge on the other side now. Smooth, steady breath. And then gently exhale to release the left knee to the mat, gathering the strength in the legs. On the inhale, sweeping both arms up to the sky, coming into your low lunge on the second side. Yeah, really nice, y'all. Then we'll take that little flowing pattern here. So we'll inhale to reach. Exhale to release the hands to the mat on the inside of that front foot. Inhale to look forward. Lift the left knee off the earth. Holding in this position for just a breath. Then exhaling the left knee down. Inhaling, arms sweep back up to the low lunge. Yes, great. And then last time down, exhaling hands to the mat on the inside of that front foot. Looking forward, inhale the left knee off the earth. Here are your options. Once more, you can stay right here. This is a lot of work just to be right here. So that's completely fine if that's where you're at today. If you want to try that little core balance, you'll grip the mat with your fingers. Pull in through the belly, and then on the inhale, maybe that right foot starts to tuck underneath you. Holding for a breath. If the right foot's lifted, replace it right back down where it came from. And then we'll all release the left knee to the earth. Big inhale to send your right leg long and strong behind you. And then exhale to connect the right toes to the mat So it stays in that same shape with the knee lifted, but the toes are grounded. Once again, you can work right here, pulling in through the belly, pushing the hands into the mat, or maybe on the inhale, that left leg starts to come towards you. And it can come right underneath, or if you need more space, it can come to the side. Wherever you are, one breath. If that left knee is off the ground, gently replace it, and then gently lower the right knee to the earth as well. Great work. From here, we'll work the hands a little ahead of the shoulders. Grip the mat with the fingers. Kickstand your toes. On your inhale, use that to prep, and then your exhale will take the knees off the ground just 1 inch. Hovering here in this little tabletop position. Feeling the strength in the arms, strength in the belly. And then on your exhale, bending into the knees and gently sending the hips up towards the sky, coming into your downward facing dog. It's the first down dog of practice, so take a few moments to really make it your own. You can pedal the feet back and forth, swing the hips from side to side, shake the head out, whatever you might need to make this shape feel a bit more comfortable for you. Always remember, it's fine to bend the knees if the hamstrings feel like they're not allowing the hips to come to the sky very high. Yes, there you go. Great. I'm finding a little bit of stillness now. And then on your next inhale, we'll start to ripple forward to plank. So you'll come high up on your toes and then scoop in through the belly, taking the whole time to ripple forward towards your plank. If you don't want to come to plank, that's fine. You can stay in your down dog, no problem. But if you're in your plank, you'll hold for a breath. And then gently on the exhale, hips come back to the sky, downward facing dog. This time on the inhale, we'll look forward and bend the knees, and then take a little walk to the top of the mat. Your legs can stay as bent as you like when you arrive, and then place some firm purchase through the feet so that you can swim your arms out and around on the inhale, and then exhaling, hands to your heart. Beautiful. Here we are. From here, we'll take a big step back to the back of the mat with your left leg. So you'll come into your high lunge legs. We're just staying here for a moment, so just making sure you have equal purchase through the feet. And then right away on the exhale, we'll start to shift the legs towards warrior 2 legs. So hands can stay at the heart for a moment as we settle into the leg position. So we're in this sideways lunge. The right knee is bent right over the right ankle. Right toes are facing straight ahead. Hips are at this little bit of a diagonal. And the left toes are also in at a little bit of a diagonal. Lots of weight through the outer edge of that left foot. As you feel ready in the legs, then on the inhale, you can unfurl the arms, coming into your full pose here. Yes, nice job. Breathing smooth and steady here. Easy breath. Putting some weight through that left outer edge of the foot might allow you to sink into your right knee just another little inch, maybe. And then on the exhale, straighten that front leg, bring the hands back to the heart. Start to turn all 10 toes towards the long edge of the mat. And then switching sides, turning the left toes to face the left. The right toes will come in at that little angle. Bending now into the left knee, and then inhaling, arms open. So you're now in your warrior 2 towards the back of the mat on the second side. Same alignment checks here. Left knee right over the left ankle, hips at that little bit of a diagonal, right toes at a little bit of an angle towards you. Strong shoulder blades here. Pulling your wings together towards the back. Smooth, steady breath, one more round. And then we'll start to change sides a little quicker now. So on the exhale, straightening through the left, bringing the hands to the heart, squeezing the feet towards one another, and then floating out into your warrior two. Extend the arms, your back to your warrior two to the front of the mat. Inhaling here. And then exhaling, straighten and transition. Scoop into the middle. And then as you arrive, inhale to on for a warrior two towards the back. One more full change. Inhale to get ready. Exhale, use the belly. Change through center, hands come together. And then inhale your way back out, warrior two to the right. This time we'll stay in the middle. Scooping in on the exhale, pausing here in the middle, 10 toes facing straight ahead. Then you'll slightly shorten your stance. Toes are going to point out now at a little bit of an angle, so heels closer, toes wider. We'll inhale the spine long, and then exhale to bend the knees, coming towards goddess pose legs. You got it. In this pose, we're thinking of a little tuck of the belly here. So we were not in a hip hinge squat like that. We want to make sure the tail's kind of coming down. But then check to see that the knees are floating right over your toes. So if the knees are coming towards the inside, squeeze your tail. See if you can send the knees over top. If you still can't, then angle the feet in a little bit more. Once you found your happy spot here, then we'll start to shift the weight from side to side. So keeping the knees bent, keeping the breath smooth and steady. That's, yeah, you got it. A few more rounds of breath here. You got it. Building blocks here. Building strength and endurance. One more full round of breath. Staying in the middle here. And then exhale to straighten the legs. Take one delicious breath here. They're coming back in a moment. Inhale the spine long, and then exhale, bend the knees, coming right back in. This time you can choose to stay lifted and continue with those sideways rocks. Or if there's enough space, we'll start to hinge forward at your hips, bringing the hands towards the mat. You can have them farther out in front of you if you need a little more space underneath, or you can have them close to the mat. And then we'll take those same rocks. This time, as you bend into the left knee, the right leg will go straight. And then inhaling over to the right side, right knee bends, the left leg straight. And you'll glide back and forth between those two, using your breath to help you. Hips stay low, smooth, steady changes. Either you're high or low, taking one or two more times, making sure that you even out your sides. And once you're even, you'll hold in the center. If your hands are on the mat, you'll gently bring them back to your heart, straighten through the torso, and then everyone exhale to straighten through the legs. Really nice. Then we'll toe heel the feet together, and then you'll just take a walk back to the top of the mat. From here, scooping the arms out and around on the inhale. And then on the exhale, hands come to your heart. And then we'll hinge forward at the hips, bringing the hands towards the earth. Again, bending the knees as much as you need to get your hands firmly on the mat. And then two options. First option, you can simply place one knee and then the other knee down towards the mat, coming towards your hands and knees. Or you can step one foot and then the other foot to the back of the mat, coming towards your downward facing dog. I'm going to take one ripple forward to plank. If you're on your hands and knees, you can choose to ripple forward to half plank. That's totally fine. If you're in your down dog, you'll ripple forward to full plank. But we'll move together. Inhaling, taking the full breath, scooping into the belly, smooth and steady as you go, and either in your half plank or your full high plank. One breath here. Look nice.
And then exhaling, hips to the sky. If you're in your hands and knees, you can push up towards your down dog. And then we'll all look forward on the inhale, bend the knees, and then once again, walk to the top of the mat. Pushing into the feet when you arrive. Inhale the arms out and up towards the sky, and then exhaling, hands to your heart. Okay, moving on. On the inhale, once again, stepping a big step back with your left leg, coming into your high lunge legs for just a moment. On the exhale, transitioning right away into those warrior two legs towards the right. As you feel steady in the legs, inhaling the arms open, coming into your full warrior two, right leg in the front. This time on the inhale, flipping the right palm up to face the ceiling. And then we'll start to sweep that right arm up and back, coming towards your reverse warrior here. Left hand can rest on the left leg, or if there's a little more space, you can wrap it around your back, your option. Once again, keeping a lot of weight through that left outer edge of the foot so that maybe you can bend your right knee a little bit more. Climbing up out of the spine here. One last breath. And then inhale your way back, warrior two. Exhale to straighten the front leg, bring the hands to the heart. We'll do that little switch through the center, toes facing the long edge of the mat, and then keeping going. Transitioning towards your warrior two on the second side. Bending through the left knee, extending the arms as you feel ready. Taking a moment just to check the alignment of your feet. Make sure you feel really grounded in your warrior two. And then on your inhale, flip your left palm to face the sky. Sweep the left arm overhead, right arm option on your leg, or maybe wrapping behind the body, you choose. Now focusing on that right outer edge of the foot, putting a lot of weight through that, protecting the back knee, and hoping to take some weight out of the front leg. Smooth, steady breath, one more round. And inhaling back towards your warrior two. Exhale to straighten the leg, hands come to the heart. All toes now facing the long edge of the mat, and we'll stay right here. And once again, bringing the feet slightly closer together, toes pointing out, heels pointing in. We're gonna add on to this a little bit as well. Of course, all the few past options are still in the menu. We'll inhale the spine tall, and then exhale to sink down into your goddess. You could stay with those high rocks that we did before. If you were comfortable moving your hands towards the floor, we'll move towards that again, hinging forward at the hips, bringing the hands to the earth, walking the hands towards the left, straightening through that right knee, and then walking the hands towards the right, straightening through the left. Choosing to stay here, sliding along with the use of the hands, or maybe choosing to bring the arms out like wings and sliding back and forth just with the legs. Any and all options are great. All of them are building blocks. They all count. If you're changing, particularly without your hands, keeping the hips low, keeping the breath smooth and steady, a few more rounds. Yes, yeah, really nice. Great. Lots of options I see out there. Those look great. Even out your sides, whatever you've chosen to do. And then if the hands are on the earth, bring the hands back under the heart. Inhale the torso tall, and then everyone exhale to straighten the legs. And then we'll bring the feet a little closer together, but not all the way. So your feet will be roughly shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider. Again, taking the toes out wide. So we're coming towards Malasana, yogic squat. We'll have a couple rounds to try with different options. But this first round, we'll inhale the spine tall, and then exhale to start to bend the knees, starting to calm down. So this first part looks like a narrow goddess squat. You may choose to stay right here, completely fine. If there's a little bit more space, maybe the hips start to descend a little bit more. If there's more space, maybe the hips start to come all the way down towards the earth. Elbows start to meet the inside of the legs. If you find that doing that makes the whole spine round and you tip forward, then try coming up a little bit higher, and or you could place a block under your seat and make it more of a restful experience here. If by chance you're all the way down and it feels really easy and you feel like, oh, I could just stay here all day, then you might want to pop up an inch so that you get a little bit more work. You can tailor it to you. Wherever you are, I'm going to take a peek over here. One more breath. Beautiful. Really nice work, y'all. Smooth, steady focus. One more round. And then as you're ready, use your legs, use your belly on the inhale. Come all the way back up to standing. Yes. Heel the feet together. And then you can just release the arms and legs. Shake them out a lot. That's a big ask there. There we go. So we're going to come down one more time. This time I'm going to show you another option. Completely just playing. You can go for it or not. You can stay with the previous option, totally fine. I'm going to show you from the side so you can take a peek here so you can see the whole thing. So all those same options, or maybe if you're down and you'd like to try a little bit of balancing, we'll place the hands on the earth. Grip the mat with your fingertips, just like we've been doing all class. Then come up higher, lifting the hips higher, bringing the feet a little closer together. Coming up onto the toes, bringing the knees as high towards the shoulders as you can. Look forward. If you look down, you might go that way. So you're gonna look way out in front. Scoop in through the belly, hug the shoulders. Maybe then the weight tips forward. Maybe we lift one foot and then the other. Or maybe you squeeze together enough that you can lift both feet and hover for a moment. Maybe. All options on the menu. I'll walk you through if you're going to go for it. But we'll all start together. So we'll bring the feet in that same position that you had before, perhaps a little wider than the shoulders. Hands come to the heart. Inhale to prepare, spine stays tall. And then exhale, starting to bend the knees, coming down into your position, either staying in some version of the squat or starting to come towards the balance. If your screen is on and you want to work towards the balance, give me a little nod. Yes, okay. So from here, you'll walk your hands forward. If you're not balancing and the squat starts to get a lot as we go through this, feel free to come out at any time. But if you're balancing, you're going to walk the hands pretty far forward in front so that you can get your knees close to the shoulders. Grip the mat with the fingers and then lift your hips up so you start to shift some of the weight into the hands and you can get your knees, your shoulders even closer. Then you'll start to shift the weight forward. Look forward. Squeeze your shoulders towards your knees. So you want to have your shoulders touching your legs. Yep. So keep those knees connected right there. You got it. Scoop in through the belly, shift forward. Your gaze is good. Yep. So think more squeeze, like you're a little tiny ball. Yes. Yes. And then maybe one foot lift and then maybe the other. Yep. That's great. Keep trying one more breath. Close. That's close. Good. Good. Okay, great. And then come on down, taking a little break. If you're in your squat and you look so cozy and comfortable, which some of you do, you look lovely. But you're going to harness the power of your belly. Come all the way back up to standing. Yes. Then take a little walk to the top of your mat. And we'll do one arm circle to clear it. We'll go On the inhale, swimming out and up. Exhaling, hands to your heart, hinging forward, placing your hands on the earth. And this time, everyone, one knee down, and then the other knee down, kicking the toes together and the knees wide, sinking your hips back towards your child's, or using your block, sinking your hips back only part way, placing your head on the block. So there's lots of room underneath you. Resting easy here, slowing down the breath, slowing down the mind, knowing that all those little building blocks were helpful to reaching towards the goal of balancing, or towards the goal of having a comfortable, easeful squat. Right? So the goal can change, and that is, of course, fine. It's going to grow and change with you. But know that every step you take takes you a little bit closer, even the ones where you fall down. That's totally fine too. You always learn that way. Taking one more breath in your rest. And then gently bringing yourself out onto your hands and knees. And then swinging the feet to one side, the hips to the other side so you can sit down. And then we'll return the legs to that little butterfly shape we had in the beginning of class. So your feet are touching and the knees are wide. If when you sit like this, especially not on top of something, if you feel like you're really rounded in the spine, then you could grab your block or blanket and pick yourself up a little bit so that you're right on the tops of the sitting bones. And once you have a good position for your feet and legs, you'll inhale the spine tall. And then exhaling, starting to hinge forward, maybe a little, maybe a lot. If you're coming down, you're going to hinge until you run out of room in the low spine, and then you'll let your head and your neck soften down. If you're not coming down, you'll use your hands on your ankles and pull forward a little bit like we did in the beginning. They're just working through those thighs there. Either way is totally fine. Great. Slowing the breath down even more. And if you're with your head bowed, maybe shake it back and forth. Make sure there's no tension in your neck. And even when this forward fold, we still have that back of the spine long. So even when we start to round, it's more distributed here versus trying to get the nose down towards the floor. And wherever you are, using the inhale to inflate, come back up. And then just pulling the legs in towards each other into a comfortable seated position here. And then we'll inhale, both arms up to the sky, like that big wide V from the beginning. And then exhale to turn towards your right. Your left hand will find your right knee, and your right hand will find somewhere to land on the mat behind you. I'm coming into a bit of a twist here. Inhaling to lengthen the spine. Exhaling to deepen the twist if you want, to your degree. Maybe adding the head, if it feels okay on your neck, to look out over the right shoulder. And you're just taking this as far as feels comfortable for your spine today. 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then inhaling to unwind, bring the arms right back up towards the sky, a big breath here. And then exhaling to turn towards your left. Right hand now on your left knee, left hand somewhere behind you on the mat. Inhaling tall, and then exhaling, deepening into the twist as far as you like. Maybe the head starts to peek over the left shoulder, maybe not. Your neck is different on both sides, so just see what you find. And then gently inhaling both arms back up to the sky. One last big breath here. And then gently exhaling to fold your hands together at your heart. And then we'll take just one last piece. We'll extend the legs out in front now, pedaling the legs back and forth as you go. One last fold before we release into our Shavasana. And once again, if you need a little bit more room here, you can sit up on something or you can have the knees bent a little bit, that's fine. Either way is okay, but we really want to make sure that the spine is able to stay long here. Once you get the legs settled, then we'll inhale the arms straight up towards the sky. And then aiming to hinge right at the hip crease, coming forward a little or a lot. Hands finding somewhere to land. If there's nothing between you and your legs, then you might be able to reach your feet. Maybe you just post your hands on the mat and just lean a little bit here. You're still going to get some work through the hamstrings without having to compress anything you might not want to compress. Great. And if the hamstrings feel exceptionally short, this is also a good option here. If you are going lower, then once again, making sure that the spine, the low spine is staying long. Then once you're out of room, just as before, then you can start to release the head down. There's all different options happening out there. All of those are great. And just take it as you like. One or two more full rounds of breath here. And wherever you are, using your inhale to inflate, come back up to sitting. And then we're heading towards our final rest. So there's a few options. If you are not lying on your back today for any reason, you can come right onto your side and place a block between the legs if you're comfortable with that. If you are comfortable on your back, then we'll take a little roll. We'll inhale the arms straight out in front, and then use that belly, pulling in the vertebra one at a time. You'll start to roll backwards. If this feels like a lot for the spine, you can always bend your knees, that's fine. If you've arrived on your back, then you'll inhale the arms overhead, taking one last big yawning stretch here, expanding through the rib cage. Smooth, steady breath. And then exhaling to float the arms alongside the body. And then if you're on your back, you can decide you can leave the legs as is. If it doesn't feel comfortable on the low spine, you can always bend your knees, toe heel the feet wide, and knock the knees together so there's no effort to hold them up. Either way is okay. And then finding some comfortable position for the hands. They might stay alongside the body, palms up. They might prefer to rest on the body. Maybe they might want to take a T shape or even a cactus. Something that feels comfortable for you. This is the synthesis of the practice where it all comes together. So I will allow the sound of my voice to fade away and let you have some uninterrupted rest. Well deserved. Y'all worked hard today. And then I will call you back in a few moments.
If you are happy and cozy where you are and you'd like to stay, please stay. If you are ready to come back, you'll start with small movements at your edges, wiggling fingers and toes, gradually making those movements larger and closer to your center. At some point, if you're not already there, you'll end up on your side. Pause there for a moment. And lastly, you'll push your way up to your seated position when you're ready, no rush. And as you arrive, maybe still with the eyes closed or just a soft gaze out in front, but holding the attention internal for just a few moments longer. Finding somewhere for your hands to land, maybe on your lap, maybe folded at the chest, maybe one hand on your heart, the other on top, or something else entirely you choose. But taking these last few breaths together to know that as we make our way toward whatever goal we want, whether personal or social, large or small, it takes steps, it takes building blocks, and it takes endurance. And what we do on the mat can be like a template for what we want to do off the mat. And as always, I thank you so much for joining me, sharing our practice together. And I wish you a lovely evening. Namaste. I'm just going to turn the recording off.